I think we are live. Hello everyone, my name is Ammar Younas. I am CEO of IMO Innovation Consultants. IMO Innovation Consultants is a boutique digital transformation consultancy. At IMO Innovation Consultants, we provide innovative consulting, digital services, trainings, networking opportunities, as well as a full suite of skills that is essential for the potential growth of individuals, enterprises, state bodies, and educational institutions. We have recently started a new segment which is called as IMO Talks. The purpose of these talks is to introduce you with our experts, their areas of expertise, and range of services which we offer. Another purpose of these talks is to engage students, experts, media outlets, different educational institutions, state bodies, to inspire them, to motivate them, and to seek their feedbacks. In these IMO talks, we will be discussing range of topics from social and applied sciences and humanities. We will be discussing about economics, finance, chemistry, biology, history, philosophy, technology, yoga, and everything. For today's discussion, we have with us Nigina Ortikova. She is a specialist in cybersecurity. So welcome, Nigina. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Ammar. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also fine, thank you. So Nagina is going to talk about cybersecurity, post-COVID cybersecurity in Central Asia. So Nagina, can you please first tell us that why you choose this industry, cybersecurity? Because first of all, this is not something which we see women doing in our region when we talk about Central Asia. So what motivated you to choose this industry?
Hi. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. It's my honor to be here. And why did I choose this industry? First of all, cybersecurity is one of the fastest growing industry in the world, and the demand is just increasing as the world is slowly turning to automation, and technology plays a big role in our lives. Um, why? When I started my college career in the United States, like 4 years ago, I was a poli-sci major. I was not going into like IT. Like I didn't even know if I was good at IT. But last year in the fall of 2019, I was able to get an internship with the IT company, which is called IQ4. It's New Jersey based. And I was a cyber analyst with them. So I worked with them for over 5 months, and we help small businesses to protect themselves and to come up with the cyber security framework for their small businesses. And I was like really loving my job, and I thought this is something that everyone can do. What's interesting about cybersecurity is that you don't have to be like IT specialist to be in cyber. Cyber is very broad industry, and cybersecurity needs specialists from all over the industries. As a poli-sci major, I was able to implement my skills and my critical thinking skills into the industry. And I was like, this is something that I can do. And I really loved my job. That's why I got into this industry in the first place. But of course, like technical skills is also important. That's why I added my computer science minor this year. And hopefully by the time I graduate, like I will be able to ready to get my cybersecurity certificate on this field.
So at present, if I ask that how much this cybersecurity career is by choice and how much this cybersecurity career is by luck, so what you will say? Is it something which has become a part of your lifestyle, or you still think that it was an accident to come to the cybersecurity?
It was accidental for my case, like actually, because as I said, like I was not going to an IT industry, and because I was like, I was never good at, I thought I was never good at computer. That's not something as a poli-sci major, that's not something that I'll be good at it. But when I come to this internship, I realized that cybersecurity is not only about technical stuff. It's not only about like, oh, hacking and like protecting the system from the hackers. Of course, we do have specialists in cyber, but we also need business analysts. We also need this cybersecurity specialists who can train employees in the new industries, who can give their insights, critical thinking insights, for all sectors of business, all sectors of industry, so that they can be prepared for the future. That was something, because I was able to bring my political science background to the industry. I was interested. So I would say that that was by accident, by luck. But I'm so happy that I chose this industry. As I dive into more, dive into this more, like it's just getting more interesting.
Okay, so I mean, you belong to Uzbekistan from Central Asia, and now you are studying in USA, and you have knowledge about the Central Asian region. You know your academia very well, what kind of courses universities are offering, what kind of industries are being introduced, new innovation technologies which are being introduced in Central Asia, and you are studying, cybersecurity outside of the region. So
Mhm.
if you zoom out and look at your region, what do you see in terms of future of cybersecurity in Central Asian region?
Yeah, cybersecurity is not something that a lot of people are aware of in Central Asia, especially in Uzbekistan. We do have like since I started more becoming active in my country and started networking with a lot of students in Tashkent, in Samarkand, and other regions, I can see that some of the people are started interesting it, because this is something we need to in order to be prepared for the future. But that's still not something that a lot of people are aware of it. But the development of the telecommunication infrastructures in Central Asia has increased the online presence in the region dramatically, especially after COVID-19 and the global pandemic. Everyone went into lockdown, and everyone is sitting in front of their computers. Even our education, our work, everything has moved to online. So it is very important for Central Asians and like professionals in Uzbekistan to 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 find out about cybersecurity. What's cybersecurity? How to protect ourselves? How to be prepared for the future? We are seeing a lot of cases. If you watch the, like, I do follow a lot of Uzbek news. We are seeing a lot of cases where people are desperately trying to collect. We do have like some like fundraisers are going on for people who are very struggled because of the pandemic. But unfortunately, we are seeing a lot of cyber attacks for this fundraisers, where some of the people were stolen, were ripped off from their money, just because people don't know about like how to protect themselves, and that makes us vulnerable.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. So I mean, this is something which you can see as an someone who belong to the region and sitting outside. But I'm also a technology expert. My area of expertise is technology law, and whenever I talk about technology law in this
mhm,
region, people say that it is useless because less than 10% of the people, they have access to the internet, and you are talking about rules and regulations. Then the question arises, and the same question is for you, that what is the importance of, if we say IT consultants, means we do need new professions, we do need experts, because you have mentioned that if we don't have these areas of education, if we don't have these experts, there can be so many problems, and problems are already emerging, you have already mentioned. So what is your take on this, that what is the importance of IT consultants for Central Asian region?
yeah, in order to understand what's the important cyber analyst, we need to understand the problem. Central Asia as a whole is now facing a growing threat of attacks from cyber criminal gangs, and that's the this is the I just like found out that every on average 20 websites are successfully hacked every 5 days in Uzbekistan. And while the every 10th website is hacked repeatedly, government officials and cyber experts throughout Central Asia argue that this is due to lack of awareness, cybersecurity in general public. Um, and according to the Cybersecurity Index, a lot of the business in Uzbekistan, they still utilize pirated software such as unprotected copies of Windows operating system for their online presence and for their activities. So because of this like lack of awareness about like why do we need to protect ourselves, like we are still very vulnerable, a lot of the businesses and people unprotected who are being present and online. And you ask what's the important cyber analysis. Cyber analysis can help small businesses to find out what are their vulnerabilities and how to overcome them and how to protect themselves better, and come up with a cybersecurity framework such as NIST. NIST framework is it's very simple. It's identifying what we have and look what we are doing to protect it, be able to understand and be able to check if something were going on and how to respond if there is anything going on with the security issues and how to recover. And cyber analysis are very important to help, especially for small businesses and new businesses who don't know anything about this protection and how to protect themselves. I think cyber analysis can offer their expertise in terms of even like training employees. And one of the important steps of cybersecurity is like to let them know the employers know how to protect themselves. And in order to do that, cyber analysts can offer their services of like training employees.
So then the other question arises also, you are the perfect person to ask this, since you are observing the region very closely, and you have already mentioned that the people are trying. I mean, at governmental level, I have also observed that there are technology policies which are being introduced, and we talk about
Mm-hmm.
the strategies when it comes to the cyber security. I have observed that almost all the Central Asian countries, their law enforcement agencies, they have some kind of department to deal with the cyber security, and in terms of rules and regulation, they also keep introducing some new stuff. But what do you think, since you belong to this region, and you are studying in one of the the top universities of the world, where the information is being updated, not on daily basis but on the hourly basis. So what do you think, how
Mm-hmm.
effective in comparison to the other cybersecurity strategies is the strategy of Central Asian countries? Are you satisfied?
Am I satisfied? We have seen a lot of improvements in the region of Central Asia. Governments are trying to prepare for the future and prevent major breaches. As a response, all Central Asian countries, and including Uzbekistan, they formed their own computer emergency response teams. They are called CERT. I think it's called UCRT. Additionally, Uzbekistan have created dedicated cyber programs at national universities with the intention of training information and cyber experts on domestic CRT agencies. Both governments are now capable of repelling the majority of daily cyber attacks that occur. Um, Uzbekistan hasn't seen major cyber attack, not yet. We do have like small cyber attacks for small businesses, as I said, for public in public sector, but we haven't seen any major attack for government sector. So I would say right now what they're doing and whatever they have, the system is working for now. But as I said, the change is coming, and especially after this post COVID-19, I don't think we are going back to normal. I think a lot of the things that will be staying online, and like even we will be moving to online even more. So as online presence will be improved, will be even more, I don't think whatever the system that we have right now is not going to be enough. So what we have to pay attention right now is like to bring more cyber analysts, to bring more cyber specialists to Uzbekistan. I do know a lot of young professionals who are studying abroad, from Uzbekistan, from Central Asia. I think what we have to pay attention is that to bring those expertise to Uzbekistan so that they can implement their skills and their expertise in their country.
Yeah, you just raised very good points, that risks are always there and we should be
Mm-hmm.
prepared for them. And especially you were mentioning about the COVID-19, and this is also the something which we have to discuss. And I was just thinking that in COVID-19, when good people are sitting at home, the criminals are also sitting at home. When good people are making their strategies for next 5 years, the short term strategies and long term strategies, criminals are also making their strategies. Yes. So definitely there will be an effect of this pause which has come in our daily financial life. and majority of the businesses, they are trying to shift on internet. So how do you think that what will be the effect of COVID-19 on the cyber infrastructure of Central Asia particularly?
Yeah, you mentioned that about the small businesses. I think Uzbekistan is one of the countries that are trying to improve small businesses sector, and we do have a lot of small businesses that are opening up, and it is very important. Small businesses are a very important part of economic and national security, and it is important for them that they need to know about cybersecurity risk and how it can affect them. Usually, we're seeing that businesses not taking cybersecurity seriously because they think they're not that important for cybersecurity. Criminals, they think they don't have anything to steal, but they are too small or unimportant. But that's wrong. That's what the criminals want small business owners to think. When they're careless and they tend to leave their information vulnerable for breaches, easy to take over very important data, and usually cyber criminals hold them for ransom. I'm going to give you one of the prime examples. In 2017, in Kazakhstan, one of the major banks, Alpha Bank, was taken over by the hackers, cybersecurity hackers, and they demanded ransom, like which is like very big amount of money for them to unblock the IT system, and they had to give the money because like there was nothing that they could do. They wanted to protect their customers, and I don't want like that's something that we need to prepare of. Like as I said, Uzbekistan hasn't seen any major cyber attacks, but a risk is always there, as you said, and preparing for the future is very important. One of the things that preparing for what's worse is less costly, and it is so much easier than recovering process. And after COVID-19, I'm sorry, I think I got lost of your question. Could you repeat your question?
Yes,
I'm not sure if I
yes,
answered your question or
I
not.
was, you are right. I was asking about the effect of COVID-19 on cyber infrastructure in Central Asia. I mean, uh, and you have highlighted already that everyone is vulnerable, no matter it is individual and government. And by giving this example of Kazakhstan, we can see that some of the cybersecurity infrastructures which are not working when the situation is normal,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
after the COVID-19, it can become even worse because there is a huge transitional period, and I mean everyone is relaxed and people have taken a step
Mm-hmm.
back, and this is also a perfect time for criminals to come up with the new strength. So this was something which I wanted to ask, that this COVID-19 is going to affect on the cyber infrastructure in Central Asia. And you mentioned that yes, even before COVID-19, there was a threat. There were many threats, and definitely after this will be also will be there can be some threats. But then the other question arises, and before giving my comments, I want to ask you that how governments and individuals can prepare themselves against these cyber crimes. I mean, there is a strategy for government, but on personal level, individuals, what they can do. So can you please shed light on the strategies on the behalf of government, and what your recommendations, and what you will recommend to individuals, how they can tackle these cyber criminals?
Sure, yeah. For the government level, I think Uzbekistan, like they started recruiting students for cyber studies. For example, in 2016, there was a law signed by the president of Uzbekistan to open the cybersecurity part of it in Tashkent University of Information Technologies, and in their branches, which is located in Urgench, Karshi, Samarkand, Fergana, and Nukus. According to statistics, more than 480 freshman students, which is 19% of the freshman class, began study in the cybersecurity industry, cybersecurity part of it. But I don't think that is enough. I think in the government level, we need to start giving more cybersecurity how do I say that? We need to give like more cybersecurity experiences to people, not only in the university level. I think we need to bring certified cybersecurity specialists who can teach like this young like professionals who are interested in the field. For the government level, I think that's one thing that I can say, but also like support the private sector. For example, as of like a consultancy agency of yours who can have cyber specialists who can provide their services to small businesses or even individuals who are interested in this field. I think that's something that governments can do for now. Just concentrate on the giving the cybersecurity training for the young professionals. For the individual level, I think we need to prepare for the future, and everyone should educate themselves on the security of internet. Post COVID-19, online presence in Uzbekistan has increased dramatically. We do have like more than 30 million population, but as you said, all like in the beginning, you said like only 10% of the population are online. But after COVID-19, I don't know the exact statistics, but I'm sure that it's more than that right now. For them, just a common sense of like updating your software and operating systems. That means that they benefit from the like from latest security patches. Use antivirus softwares for even in their phones or the computer. Use strong passwords and ensure passwords that are not easily guessable. Or even do not open email attachment from unknown senders. This could be infected with the malware and unknown links, and that's unknown links. And opening the links is one of the major problem right now in the public sector of Uzbekistan. And do not click on the links and avoid using unsecured Wi-Fi, which are like very common sense of like how can one protect themselves from cyber criminals.
So since we are talking about the capacity building of individuals, I mean, people need to learn a lot about these new innovation technologies. Definitely, there are positive impacts of these cyber world, and the cybersecurity is not always negative. There are positive things also to discuss in the context of cybersecurity. And you mentioned that individuals are being prepared, and the government is actually taking a lead. But there are so many other students who want to pursue a career in information technology and specifically in cybersecurity. So you are also a student. What are your
Mhm.
recommendations for those students who are already pursuing or who are planning to pursue a career in cybersecurity studies?
That's a very good question. Thank you for asking that. I do get a lot of questions in my Facebook, Instagram. A lot of students will reach out to me and say, like, I'm really interested of what you do, but I don't know where to start. The one of the things that we need to improve in Uzbekistan is the like information flow. We do have like students who are aware of cybersecurity in Tashkent, in the capital city of Uzbekistan, but Uzbekistan is a big. We have 12 regions, and I don't think like we are reaching students from remote parts of Uzbekistan enough. And people just don't know what cybersecurity is in generally. But to start and how to become a cybersecurity, how to become in the specialist in cybersecurity, I think they need to start. We like nowadays we have like so many online classes, especially post COVID-19, even paid online classes, which is like number one in the world. Even universities are making their online classes free, but they need to know English for that. One of the important things in cybersecurity that I think is the importance of foreign languages. In that sector, I think Central Asian students have advantages since a lot of students speak Russian or they speak in any other languages. And English is becoming more and more very common language in Uzbekistan as well. So for that sector, I think Central Asian students have a lot of advantages to work in cybersecurity. Um, I would advise for them to just Google what cybersecurity is and how to become one, or even take online classes. That's how I start. I started from online classes, and I added my computer science minor in my university. Right now, I'm taking coding classes and any other classes. But most of the things that I learn is from online. Just watching the news. I do listen to cybersecurity podcasts to be on top of like what's happening in the cybersecurity field, who's being breached, who's being attacked, and how are they, what are the um, structures that they're using to protect themselves. Cybersecurity is very fastest growing industry, and if you're not on top of your field, if you're not listening to news, and if you don't know what's happening, whatever you're learning right now is like may not be relevant for tomorrow, because all the businesses and everything is changing their softwares, changing their like security protocols in accordance to this fastest in accordance to this growing industry. So I would say that take online classes, listen to the news, and just Google how to become cybersecurity. If you really want to major in cybersecurity, like as I said, Tashkent Technology Institute, they have cybersecurity. They have courses in information and cryptocurrency. I think they can major in those majors to become a cybersecurity specialist.
Yeah. So there is another question from one of our audience on Facebook. He's asking that, do you support the government intervention to stop cyber threats? I think he's trying to ask that, do you think it is the responsibility of individuals or the government to monitor what is happening on the cyber world of a country?
I think that's not a, I don't think it's a choice for us right now, especially in Uzbekistan. I think most of the things that are being secured is by the government officials. We don't have any public sector or independent cybersecurity specialists. Whatever we have, they work for government, and I think that's not the question of like either we do have a choice or not. It's just how it is. Like in any part of the world, I think government plays a big role in order to protect its citizens, protect its country and infrastructures, protect its national security from cyber threats. I think government should play a role in this.
So we have another question that he's saying that, speaking from peace and conflict studies, what are the chances of Central Asian students to contribute to the field of peace building through cybersecurity in terms of regional peace? Means how the peace can brought to the region by learning more about cybersecurity. Let's interpret it like this.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a very good question, because cybersecurity is not only about like we have to protect ourselves or like just the customers and the like small sectors of businesses from malicious attacks, but it's also the matter of national security, because we are seeing major attacks to governments and how they are trying to steal very government information technology, and cybersecurity analysis can play a big role on protecting government information that cannot be breached to other government officials. Um,
Yeah, I think
just
this is
a,
something very important to, first of all, as you mentioned, that to have more and more specialists, because there should be someone who should keep a watch that something wrong is happening on the cyber world. And because this is something which can initiate, which can trigger the chaos. So if there are some specialists, they can keep a watch on our cyber world, and then they can resolve the issue, or maybe they can just indicate, and this is something which will bring peace and prosperity. Okay, so there are so many questions, but we have finished our time. But the last question is, since you are part of the team, we were talking about capacity building of individuals and capacity building of anyone who is interested in cybersecurity. What sort of services you can provide? I mean, what kind of skills which we can transfer to the interested parties, mainly students and small and medium-sized businesses?
yeah, as I said, my expertise mostly concentrate on the small businesses. That's what I did my internship for. I work with the NIST framework, which is identify what the problem is, look what they have, and be able to understand if something is going wrong and how to respond and recover. I can also provide my services about training employees being able to securing everything from inside the threats. That's one thing, something that we call inside threat in cybersecurity. Being able to train employees and to let them know how to protect themselves is very important for every single sector. It's the statistics. Like if major businesses are being attacked by the cyber criminals, they can recover very quickly because they have a lot of money, they have the capacity of recover. But 60% of small businesses do not survive if they face major cyber attacks. And for them to know that, they have to take this seriously and they have to know about what cybersecurity is, how it can affect them. And I can help them to come up with their frameworks. How can they protect themselves and provide employee trainings? That's
Okay.
something. I'm still a student, but I have a expertise and I have a lot of experience on that sector. So I can only say that I can provide this one.
Okay, thank you very much for this wonderful discussion and enlightening us and telling us so much information about a relatively new area when we talk about Central Asian region. Hopefully our audience also enjoyed. So thank you very much to all the
Thank
participants,
you.
and thank you very much Nagina for being with us this evening, and hopefully we will have more practical trainings and maybe webinars in which we will be able to train our youngsters about cybersecurity
Mhm.
and other things. So thank you very much to the audience for staying
Thank you
with
so
us.
much, Mr. Ammar.
Hope to see you soon for a next talk.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for inviting me.